Yo, what's up, guys? I'm Justin, and this is Big Code Hours. So today we have got a coding challenge in Python. Well, really can be in any language, but I'll be using Python. It's on Leetcode. Um, I've just been looking at it a little bit, and it says it's an easy one, and I think that it is. But I will be honest, I read through the discussions just like a little bit without trying to get too into any answers or anything before I go about it. So, this question says an ugly number is a positive integer whose prime factors are limited to 2, 3, and 5. Okay, so so it's a positive integer, right? So it's 0 or greater, um, and its prime factors are limited to 2, 3, and 5. Here's the thing, though. So 6 has a has um, has a factor of 6 and 1, which Um, I guess like those aren't prime factors, but I guess it can be confusing in a way. Like you wouldn't be able to. One of those factors couldn't be itself, I guess, and then also couldn't be one. I don't know, because I guess one isn't a prime number. I don't think. Yeah, I guess I forgot what it kind of what a prime. It's prime number. Look dumb for looking this up. Prime number is a whole number whose number is greater than one. Okay. So prime number is positive integers. Prime numbers are limited to 2, 3, and 5. So 2, 3, and 5 are prime numbers, and okay, and also 1 is considered a correct answer because it has no prime numbers. I don't know. I think this is part of this only has a 42% acceptance rate, which is I feel like low for an easy question. Maybe not. Regardless, this seems like a bit of a tricky one. So, or at least, I know it's easy, but I don't know. It's kind of messing with my brain. Maybe I don't have enough experience with prime numbers, but let's see. So, n is our number. So, okay, so if it's greater than or equal, or less than or equal to 0, we know that it's going to return false. Okay, let's spell the word. Okay, and if n equals 1. I just feel like 1 is just such an edge case, and I feel like that's part of the reason they put it in there. It apparently returns true. I'm going to go ahead and just put it like that because, I don't know, I feel like it's going to mess stuff up. So, well, let's go ahead and give this a try. So let's start with the biggest prime, which is going to be 5. So while n modulo 5 equals 0, so while n is still divisible by 5, n equals n divided by 5. Let's do while n, oops. So then we divide it by 5 as much as we can, essentially, which I think, so 2 to the 31st power is how big it gets. The max integer, max 32-bit integer, or is that 64-bit? It would be 32-bit, because 31 power, duh. So max 32-bit integer. I feel like that won't take too long, because with Leetcode, the amount of time that your program takes to run, even if it worked, if it takes too long to run, it will not count it as a correct solution. So I think this might be okay. So then let's divide it by 3. So then we'll check. So once we've exhausted through all the 5s, 0. Then we'll go through the 3s and divide by 3. Okay, and then we'll finish off with 2s. While n modulo 2 equals 0. Yeah, and I feel like 0 and 1. I guess this would work for 1, but I feel like 0. Yeah, 0 would cause this to be an infinite loop, I'm pretty sure. So we're definitely going to have an edge case for 0. 1 actually might go through this, but I just feel like it's going to cause something annoying. So, okay, that should divide the number down. Yeah, so if n equals 1, then we're going to return true. Okay, so I guess, yeah, I mean, that's unnecessary, I suppose, I guess. Else we're going to return false. Okay, so here's the thing. Here's why I feel like this could work, is because, right, so if a number is, so 2, 5, and 3 are prime factors. It makes it a little confusing using the word prime. 2, 5, and 3 are prime factors. That's kind of where the prime part plays in. But what we're trying to figure out is its divisibility. Not really as much like its prime factors, I feel like. So essentially we're saying 2, 3, and 5 are the only prime factors available. So we'll divide it by 5 as much as we can. If it ends up becoming 1, right, then that means it was fully divisible by 5. Yeah, I think this would work because, yeah, because if it only has a factor of 2, 3, or 5, then this will, so anything that has a factor and its only factors are 2, 3, and 5, this will end up being 1 because it keeps getting divided by 5 as much as it can, then it divides it by 3 as much as it can, then it divides it by 2 as much as it can. So it was like 7 modulo 5. Let's say it was like 7 times 5, which is 35. So it divides it by 5 as much as it can, which will be 7 divided by 3, or 7 modulo 3. So it's not divisible by 3. So then it goes to this next while loop. So 7 modulo 2 equals 0. So then 7 also isn't divisible by 2. So then 7 does not equal 1, so it will return false. I don't know. That kind of makes sense, but a lot of times on these, they're a little bit tricky. Okay, so that did work. I kind of thought that, well, this is obviously going to work for these cases. I guess yeah, okay. So it works for 1, which is good to see. It works for 6, which is good to see. So let's submit this. And that was right. Nice. So I had tried a few little things earlier, and just to like get a grasp, because it was really confusing on just the question itself. I was looking at it and I was like, this makes literally no sense. But I looked through the discussion, tried a few things, and realized what it was actually asking for, which was the fact that it's wanting to know the divisibility between those 3 numbers. So, okay, that was pretty easy. Beats 72% for runtime, beats 12% for memory, because it's Python. It's going to use more memory, of course. It's probably not going to beat that many for memory on that. I think Python has a lot of memory or something. Okay, so yeah, so that wasn't too bad. Part of the reason I think I did that one so quickly was that I had looked at it a little bit and looked at some of the discussion questions, like people explaining actually what this question was asking. Otherwise, I think like that's a pretty difficult question the way that it was worded. But yeah, so I mean, hopefully that makes sense, and if you're maybe new to programming or Python, that was like helpful. Again, essentially like what I went through was we just divided by 5 as much as we could, then we divided by 3 as much as we could, then divided by 2 as much as we could. If 5, 3, and 2 are the only factors of the number, then it's going to eventually become 1 through that process, right? But if it's like, again, a number like 35, then it's going to divide 5 as much as it can. It'll end up with 7, realize, oh, 7 is no longer divisible by 5. Then it'll try to divide it by 3, realize, nope, it's not divisible by 3. Then it'll try to see if it's divisible by 2. It won't be divisible by 2. So then 7 is a prime factor of 35, but it's not 5, 3, or 2. So yeah, so yep. Okay, well, I guess that's it for the video today. Just a fun coding challenge. If you guys like this, I can definitely do more of them. Just let me know. I'd appreciate a like and subscribe. And if there's any future video ideas that you have, totally let me know. Write down in the comment. I'd love to hear anything you guys would want to see me make. That would be awesome. So thank you. I appreciate it. You guys have a great day. Goodbye.